Welcome everybody to the 2023 Cadillac CT4V, but with a twist this time. This is the most high performance oriented version of the CT4V. Yes, this is the Blackwing. Finally, we have our hands on a Blackwing model. I know the CT5V Blackwing is like the big daddy version, the most high performance model, but this being a baby Blackwing is really not bad at all. I've done a very thorough review of the CT4V already last year. In fact, the car looks exactly the same like the car we had last year. Same paint shade and visually very minor differences that highlight this to the other car. Let's see how this performance car is. From the regular V and this Blackwing are pretty significant, but they're very much under the radar. If you want to find out more about the V, the link to the video, you can find it on the top of your screen. We've done a very thorough coverage of that car, inside out, front and back, driving, everything. Let's just focus on the changes that this car has. Now, the major changes are the drivetrain, basically everything mechanical. Visually, the car is pretty much the same with minor changes. You have some bumper extensions and you have a lot of vents, much more vents in this car, and they're all functional, which is a great pleasure surprise. Honestly, I don't hate fake vents, and these are all functional and they all look good. You can actually peek inside, you can actually see some of the channels of the wind inside. It looks really good. It looks like the real deal. This paint I really like. Although the CT4V also had the same paint, so that's one thing where it's perhaps the only common thing with the V. You've got bumper extension, you've got aluminium polished wheels which look really good. They were blacked on the V. I really like this look better. You've got extension on the side skirt. You've got a ducktail spoiler which is bigger than the V. That only had like a small lip spoiler. This is a proper ducktail. It's not carbon fiber, it's just blacked out, but it looks really good and it looks very good contrasting with this paint. Overall, the stance and everything is good. You would also notice, if you look at this car from front on angle, you will notice that the fenders are much wider to obviously accommodate the much bigger hardware, the drivetrain, the engine, because this is the real deal. It's not a puny 2-liter 350 horsepower. Sorry, it's not puny in any standards, but compared to this, it definitely is puny. And that's the engine of the V. This is a 3.6-liter twin-turbo V6, 472 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, 6-speed manual, electronic LSD. The automatic is an option, and I like the way that GM has stuck true to the core enthusiast dreams and given it a manual as standard. It has a very good transmission, the famous Tremec 6-speed manual, so it's got all the recipe for a great enthusiast car. Some changes inside, well, you do have some wider seats and you have a bit of carbon fiber on the steering and on the interior, and that's about it. It's just a regular CT4 on the outside. On the inside, if you discount these changes, and that's personally a very good thing because this is the perfect definition of what a sleeper should be. I'm now behind the wheel of the CT4V Blackwing. So as I've already mentioned the numbers, it's a 3.6-liter twin-turbo V6, 472 horsepower, only rear-wheel drive, and it comes with a 6-speed Tremec manual gearbox as standard. There is an automatic as an option, but the standard is the manual. And the shifter is pretty good. It's very hefty. It requires a lot of energy, lots of shove, but it's very rewarding. Honestly, to just shift, bang through the gear, it's very rewarding. The gears are very long. So first gear maxes out at like 70 or 80, second maxes out at like 120 or something, which is too long for daily uses. So when you're actually on your favorite B road like I am, you can only use second or third, or just use second the whole time. The engine sounds really good. There's different modes, so the valves close in like the regular tour comfort mode, but if you put it into track, sport or V mode, which you can control from the steering wheel, the valves open up and they sound so good. It almost sounds like a V8. Whoa, you can feel the rear is all over the place. You have to be a bit careful when you have this kind of power and rear wheel drive, but the steering feel is really good. Honestly, it's one of the most fun cars to just push in some corners. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Wow. And the tires are good. It's Michelin Pilot Sports, which I love. It's very trusty tires. Whoa. Sounds so good. It sounds so good. I love it. It's so fun to just play around with the gear, just pushing around. And this is where the key differences are between this and the regular V. The engine, the driving, it's everything so good. The steering feel is so top notch. The weightiness of the steering, everything is just spot on. Honestly, I don't know how Cadillac nails the combination of ride quality, because this is the Magna ride and I was on some very bumpy surfaces and I was in the V mode. and I just went over a bump, and you can hardly feel anything. The seats are really good, they soak up really well. You have a host of adjustments, lumbar support, front, back, side, those bolsters can be adjusted, but it's so comfortable, it's so daily. But especially if you put it into tour mode, you can really just cruise all day. Honestly, it's so fun. It's the rev match, which thankfully you can turn off and on with just a button. So you have a button on the center console, so you can turn off the rev match or turn on. Wow, and you have the flat foot shift. Oh wow. Oh, you can hear the pops, the bangs, the noises, and it just burbles constantly from 4,000 RPM to 3,000 RPM when you are, you know, down, up, just slowing it down and just lifting off. There's just pop, 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 and I totally love it. Honestly, this car makes you feel like a child. I don't know if it's capturable on camera, but wow, it just sounds so nice. You can just hear the little pops and bangs here and there. It sounds so good. This car is all about driving and just under the radar. I know the interior is not as bling as, say, a BMW M3 or a M340i. The screen is small, but it has all the basic necessities. So it has wireless CarPlay, Android Auto, everything. The touch response is good, the resolution is good. It's just about getting in, dropping a gear, and just going. Wow, just flooring. You can hear the pop-up. It's just about having fun. Honestly, this car will slide if you have the traction. So you have a variable traction mode, so you can go into dry, wet, sport, race 1, race 2, or just completely turn it off. I usually keep it in sport, so it allows a little bit of slip, so you look like a hero, but you're not going to spin out and crash, which I personally like a lot. What can I say? I don't know, Cadillac off late has been making great cars, and this is no exception. It's so fun to just get in this car and just drive. The brake pedal feel is top notch. The brake pedal, like the brakes themselves, are so perfectly tuned where it doesn't feel like you are just, you know, overly grabby where it's difficult to stop sometimes. It's just so nice. Honestly, I can just hear the pops all the time, just the pop 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 pop. It's so nice. It's so beautiful. Honestly, I can't fault this car for the way it drives. It's just flawless, and I just want to keep on driving, which you will have to stop for fuel as well, because in the city, if you especially drive it a bit fast, fuel economy is not its best forte. 17-18 liters per 100. On the highway, you can easily get under 10 liters per 100, which is commendable. This car can do it all. Honestly, if you need a car that stays under the radar while you're having so much fun, look nowhere else. Honestly, this is probably the most fun you can have. Oh, look at that. Oh my god, no turbo lag as such. The twin turbos work so well, no turbo lag. You can just floor it in any gear, any RPM, and it just picks up, and it's so fun on the corners. It's so fun. I'm so thankful for Cadillac for giving me the opportunity to live with this car, and this will be a tough car to give back. Honestly, I'm just gonna have fun. In conclusion then, the 2023 Cadillac CT4V Blackwing. Honestly, if you want to stay under the radar, but have a sleeper, and yet have the most fun on the road, this is the car for you. Honestly, I've driven this car for a week and I've had so much fun. And it's completely under the radar. It looks like a regular CT4. And it's the prime definition of what a sleeper should be, right? It rides really good. The Magna ride is fantastic. The suspension is top notch. The handling is so good. The steering feel is way above than any BMW offers right now. And that's top praise, because BMWs are known to be the ultimate driving machine, right? I think this is a notch or two higher. And that's the beauty when you come to the price. At around $75,000 Canadian for this CT4V Blackwing with some options. Even you put some more options, it can go up to 80K. It's still much cheaper than the nearest equivalent BMW. In fact, it's cheaper than an M340i, but it's closer to an M3. So you can understand that the price gap becomes even bigger. Maybe 30K, maybe $35,000. And that's a very big price difference if you ask me. In fact, this is one of the most bang for buck money cars. In fact, the ratio to the dollar to the horsepower, this is one of the highest. And for that very fact, I love this car. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.